So what's the craziest thing you've done lately?
Hi, Kirk here with the BMW Motorrad Club of Northern Illinois, bringing you another do-it-yourself video. This video today is being brought to you by my awesome patrons at patreon.com/KirkJohnson. If you would like to become one of my patron sponsors to help me create these videos, then please go to that site. It's in the description below, and sign up to become one of my patrons. You'll get a little something back too. Anyway, so this video today is going to be on an 05 to 09 LT. So late model LTs, the integrated brakes. Quite a few of you have requested this to be done, and so this one is for you out there. So I'm going to go through the tools as I move through it. You guys have probably already watched the other integrated video, and you know that you know, using a vacuum pump or something like that, or if you have a friend with you, that's going to make it a little bit easier. But I will point out again that this tool right here is indispensable for this job. Don't be without this tool, okay? You can get these at Beamer Boneyard. Yeah, they cost $30, but they're worth every penny of this. It's going to pay off in one use. So spend 30 bucks and get yourself the correct funnel for this job. Do everything you can to protect your paint and your windshield and your little wind wings here. So we'll lock this thing into this position here, into the left position, and raise up your windshield a little bit to get it up out of the way, just to give yourself some room to work. And then lay things across here, and we're going to cover up the windshield as well. Sometimes you got to get a little pry tool in there and break the seal. Okay, the only time I use one of these on this job now is right now, just to vacuum out the old brake fluid in here, and I take it just down to where it almost contacts the hole at the bottom. I don't want to do anything whatsoever that could introduce any air into the system, so we'll be very careful to not introduce air. As I've explained in other videos, I'll do it again for the sake of this video. This system has two parts on it. So there's the part that goes from the handbrake here down to the ABS unit, and you have to bleed it at the ABS unit. And then there's the second circuit, which goes from the ABS unit to the wheels. So we're going to do the first part, which is bleed this part down at the ABS unit. So you got the reservoirs here, and you have the bleeders here. These are what we're going to be worried about here today. So take these caps off. You can take both of them off at the same time so you don't lose them like I do. And to make some preparations on these, I'm going to go ahead and just loosen it up and tighten it real quick. This is a 7mm wrench, and I just want to give it a quick loose and tighten. Okay, they're ready to go. So the other tool that I have here is this one. So I made this one. I just bought a wrench, a cheap one at like AutoZone or something. It's a Duralast, and I just heated it up with a fire wrench and bent it over, so that way I can get on top of these things and just open and close them this way. It makes it a whole heck of a lot easier to do by turning these this way than trying to do it with a wrench like this. So get yourself one of these and bend it. Before I get too much further, this side and the back here, the one that's really hard to get at, this is your front circuit here. This is the rear circuit. So you can tell the difference by the size of the reservoir. The one with the large reservoir on it, it's got two pistons up front, so, or two calipers. So that's the front circuit. This is the rear circuit. Okay, now with this in place, and just pack a towel down here in case this thing pops off, which sometimes it does. You don't catch it and brake fluid will get out. So take once you put this thing on here, then we're going to open and close this thing out. I'll show you how to do that. So now when you squeeze the handle in, you open this up at the same time. Squeeze the handle until it stops, hold it there, and close this up. Then release the handle. You keep doing this until you get clear fluid out of here. If you do this every year, it's going to be pretty clean, but it's really a good idea to do this every year anyway. So squeeze in that handle nice and slow. Don't be in a big hurry because you'll get brake fluid that shoots right out of the bottom of the reservoir and shoots right onto your windshield or onto your wife's wedding dress that you use to cover that up and make sure you don't get any on your windshield. So on these models, on the other side of the bike over here, this is your rear reservoir right here that feeds the first circuit, or I want to say the front circuit. So circuit number 1, this feeds that. This is basically like the handbrake reservoir, but it's located back here. So uncap this and empty it out. If you got to stick in rags to soak it up, or if you got one of those little vacuum tools like I do, use that to vacuum that out. You should open up your side case, not for ease of access, but just to make sure that you don't get any brake fluid on your paint. Okay, now I'm going to go about the same procedure. I'm going to make sure that the reservoir stays full, and I'm going to push down on the brake pedal while I open this valve up. It's going to allow the brake fluid to come out, go into your catch basin or whatever you got down below. Hopefully it's not your floor. Okay, so I'm going to open this up, push down on the brake pedal all the way down to the bottom, hold it, close it up. I'm going to just keep repeating this same procedure over and over again until it gets nice and clear, or until I run out of brake fluid or come close to it over in here in the reservoir. And then after that, I'm going to take your cap and clean off your cap real good. So dry it off as best as you can with your paper towel. Get on the inside of it too, because for some reason a lot of brake fluid comes up inside the back side of this, and you just don't need that contaminating or going anywhere. When you put this thing back together, it's always good practice just to dry these things out. Dry out your cap, clean it out before you put it on. Put the little rubber back on there and put our cap on. There we go. Now we're going to do the same thing to the front one after we close all this system up down here. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this up, and I'm going to fill this right up to this line here. So you see this little step pattern that's in here, the low line and then this high line. And I'm going to bring it right about up to that high line on here before I cover this up. So regarding your cap, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to dry this thing off and pull this rubber off. This is pretty important stuff here, so you don't make a big mess later. Pull this rubber off of here, and you're going to see the back side of it's all wet with brake fluid. So dry this off as best as you can. You don't have to go crazy and make sure it's practically sterilized, but go ahead and flip it inside out. Gives you a chance to inspect it and just kind of dry it up. Also clean out the back side of your cap as well. So wipe this out, wipe around the outside, and then go ahead and put your rubber thing back on, and we'll get ready. Now we're ready to put this on, but we're not going to put it on quite yet because we got one other little thing to do. Okay, the last thing I like to do before I put the cap on is I like to tear just a little piece of material off here, twist it up, and put it inside of the screw holes, because that's where some brake fluid likes to hide out. And then when you put the screws in, it pushes that out and gets all over your handlebar. Wipe this edge prior to putting it on there, and then go ahead and put your cap back on. The last thing you want to do is when you tip these over is take a paper towel edge and just kind of run it right up in this corner, and if there's any brake fluid, it'll come dripping out of that spot if you missed any along inside when you're putting this thing together. So take care of that, and we'll go on to the next step. Now the next thing we're going to do is prep for and start bleeding the wheel circuits. So you can remove these both at once if you want, or just one at a time. It doesn't really make any difference. These are the drains, so if it gets overfilled, or if you wind up squeezing your brake pads, you know, you replace them, it makes, you know, pushes some of it back through the circuit. It's going to dump out through this and drop onto the ground and not mess up your paint. So you can see back here, this is where you have to use this funnel. There we go. And these reservoirs are not big enough, and they're very difficult to fill up, so that's why you use this funnel on this part of the project. So go ahead and put in some brake fluid into the funnel, and then we will start bleeding the front circuits. Now down here at the wheel vent, pull that cap off of there. It's usually an 11. I guess sometimes it's a 10. 10 or 11. Sometimes they have 10s, sometimes they have 11s. So you want to just crack this open just to make sure it moves. Okay, good. Before you put your hose on here. And the way you operate this is you turn your key on and wait till you hear that thing cycle. You know, you'll hear the brakes cycle. That little noise there. What you do is you reach up and you operate the brake just till it starts running. With it running, now you can open this circuit up and you can see the brake fluid to start to come out. Now while you're holding that open for a little bit, you can kind of get an eyeball on your funnel to make sure it's not dropping too fast, and in this case it certainly isn't. I'm going very slowly. You can see the amount that, I don't know if you can see the amount that's picking up here. It's really not a whole lot. I'm not going quick. Don't need to. Now before you stop and fill this thing back up, now this air in here isn't in the system, it's just in the hose. But close that up first and then let off your brake. That way you don't ingest any air back into the system. And I'm going to put a little bit more fluid in the funnel. It's a little more than halfway down. I'm also going to empty this out because it's pretty full. You can see how dark it got. So it's definitely doing the job. So you spend the majority of time on this circuit over here on this wheel because it's, you know, you're pulling everything from the brake unit all the way into this. Then when you do the other side, that doesn't take very long because it really just has to go from this junction over to the other side over there. Just do that a few times till it gets till it starts running clear, and then we'll move over to the other side. So over on the left side of the bike, it's definitely going to be a little bit trickier, just in that it's going to be harder to reach it by yourself. Now we'll move on to the rear circuit. So the rear circuit, same deal. Now we're going to remove the funnel from here and just move it over to the other side. It is a lot easier to do the rear circuit than the front circuit on this motorcycle for sure. This side over here is a lot easier to keep an eye on that funnel too. I can't stress this enough. It is absolutely imperative that you do this every year, whether you ride the bike or you don't. If it's, you know, it just sits in a barn for a year, change the brake fluid. That's how you save your ABS pump. And we want these bikes to last a long time in the future. There are guys out there that have had their ABS pumps fail, and the value of trying to change out that ABS pump with a new one actually will eclipse the value of the motorcycle. So it essentially totals the bike when your ABS pump goes out on the early model ones right now, as of the making of this video, or it depends on the condition and mileage of your late model. But anyway, you want that ABS pump to keep working, so flush it out. It's really cheap insurance. Please also check out my Patreon page that I set up as a way to help support videos just like this. I can use your help, and if you want to help sponsor these videos and want to see more in the future, please check it out and become one of my patrons today. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Hope to see you real soon again with another video.